Make some noise for your host, Kid Copious.
What up, perps? Kid Copious. Back in the bunker. Purple State Party. You know what we're doing here. We're trying to represent America. The common sense, the center. Oh, and things that prematurely go bang. There you go. So, as customary now, I'll start off by explaining the title of this episode. Porky Pies. It's Cockney rhyming slang for lies. You know, you've been telling porcupines. But the reason, of course, I bring that up is because all that's been in the news lately is this fight over this pork-filled $3.5 trillion Build Back Better bill. Too many B's for my tasting. For my taste, I guess I should say. Anyhow, I want to start this off. I came across this. This was at PragerU. I don't really care if you subscribe to them or not. You know, whatever. You're entitled to your opinions and stuff. But I just thought this really made a lot of sense. Words don't cause trauma. Opinions don't cause trauma. You're not traumatized. You're just weak. And that's true. That's a very true statement. You know, I, as somebody who voted for Trump in his second term, have taken a lot of criticism. I've taken criticism for, you know, not being happy with mask mandates and vaccine mandates. I don't like the word mandate, really, I guess. I don't wholeheartedly believe that the election was fair. I think there was certainly some suspicious behavior. There was certainly, you know, with the mail-in ballots, there certainly was, you know, the ability to cast fraudulent ballots. I mean, it was there. I mean, it could happen. I don't know. I don't care anymore. Just for the record, the election's over. You know, it is what it is. I think we all lost, quite honestly. I don't think Biden is a very good president. And I think the media lied a lot about Biden and a lot about his family. You know, just like they lied about Russian collusion and all of those documents and the Steele documents, or dossier as they want to call it. And, you know, they wanted to cover up the stuff about his son's laptop. They wanted to cover up about basically his son selling his influence to people, which is a scary proposition, you know. Our president shouldn't be for sale. And I think that was one of the things that attracted me to Trump over his 4 years, was that he didn't really seem too swayed by lobbyists. And I don't think he was in the pocket of anybody. I don't know. I mean, you know, how am I supposed to know, man? I'm just some dude in a studio. I built this studio. You know, I built this studio and I invested in this channel because I feel like America is at a crossroads. And after 50 years here, I hardly recognize the way people act. And it all goes back to this first statement, that people are being traumatized by words and opinions. You know, maybe if somebody's opinion hurts you so bad, maybe it's because you realize that you're standing on an indefensible position, you know, and you lash out. And when somebody tries to speak to you about common sense, you label them a racist. You know, you change the narrative to defend yourself. Look at me. I don't even start the clock. You know, I'm like that, man. I was supposed to, first off, just tell you, I'm filming this on a Thursday. I've got concerts Friday and Saturday night. I usually film Saturday night. So if I missed anything, that's why this week isn't complete. But let's just move on. Push forward. I read this. I gave it my happy face because I think that's a good thing that Liz Cheney reversed her stance on gay marriage. You know, one of the things that disgusts me about the Republicans is the ultra-conservative feelings that they have on things. I don't think feelings have any business in government. I look at the government as a military, or, you know, for in other terms, I also look at them kind of like a football team. You do what's best for the team, which in this case is America, Team America. But their overly conservative views on things like gay marriage, it really does bother me, because we have more important things to worry about. I mean, we have kids who go to bed hungry, kids who are under constant threat from either at home or on the streets or both. We have kids that kill themselves over issues like being gay. And the more we say that being gay is wrong, the more kids will be persecuted. That's kind of the bottom line. Being gay, you can argue, is not normal, but we need to make it look normal. That's the way I've always looked at it. You know, maybe it's not the average person. You know, that's what I mean by normal. Because I have no business talking about what is normal or abnormal. I know myself, I'm an abnormal person. Look at me. You know, this is what I do. This is what I like to be. I'm out of the box, man. I don't even live in the same zip code as the box most of the time. I'm a strange duck. And I think all strange ducks should just be treated fairly, equally. You know, we live in an era right now where people are getting crushed in their social lives with loneliness and isolation. And yeah, that's something that we need to move past, man. We need to figure out ways of being a kinder species. But anyhow, that's kind of off topic. But I just wanted to point this out because I'm glad when people see sort of the errors of their thinking. So this is where we get Porky pies right here. There's the big pork putting the lipstick of infrastructure on it. And it's not really a far reach to say that this is a socialist spending spree. And part of the problem that I have with it is, you know, and I feel this way on either side. It doesn't matter what side's doing it. But I really don't like the fact that lobbyists and unions have so much sway in our government. Because if you are representing a product or an idea or a group of workers or whatever it is, unions, lobbyists, they're representing somebody. And so you do what's in their best interest. And that's not really the way I think this game is supposed to be played. We're supposed to be doing things in the best interest of the masses. What is in the best interest of the masses? That's, I think, the foundation of common sense. What makes sense for the most amount of people? And, you know, the Democrats can argue that putting power stations in the middle of nowhere and free pre-K and free community college and all the shit that they want to do is going to benefit a majority of the people. And it's not going to affect the majority of the people. But how they're going to raise the money will. I mean, they are going to force people to pay into retirement accounts. If an employer has more than 6 people working for them, they have to offer some sort of retirement plan. And they want to set, I believe, an 8% contribution, employee contribution, that will be mandatory. Now, I understand people should be saving for the future, but there's people out there who could barely get through the present. I mean, you know, you put one foot in the past and one foot in the future, and you're just pissing on the present. And that's what the Democrats have been demonstrating for going on 5 years now. Very clearly demonstrating that they want to rehash the past. They want to condemn people based on the past. And then they want to spend a shit ton of money on the so-called future. And when you're putting up, for example, power stations in the middle of nowhere to power electric cars, and I don't even really understand that because, like I've said before on this show, it takes a long time to charge a car. So I don't think service stations are really, I don't think that the gas model will work. And if you make an electrical device that will charge a car battery. I mean, remember, we're not talking about a car battery. We're talking about a battery that powers the entire car. The battery in your car starts it up. And then it has an alternator that generates electricity that your radio and your AC use. Okay, but now you're going to have all your power coming out of one battery. If you make that charge as fast as you can fill up a tank of gasoline, you have now created something that is highly dangerous. You will be pushing a lot of amperage, and it's the amps that'll kill you. And if you have a problem with that battery, you will be setting it up to explode. It's not a good idea. Electric vehicles are not a good idea. A hybrid, something that charges the battery while you're driving, can reduce a car's emissions. And that's what we should be doing, reducing, not eliminating, because eliminating comes with its own set of problems. But we can reduce without creating a massive need for all of these batteries that pollute just as bad as anything else and come from slave labor. And I mean, in Nevada, they're going to start mining lithium by pouring some sort of, I forgot, sulfuric acid, I believe, into the ground. And it's going to poison the water supply in that area for 300 years. And it's an Indian reservation. So they're going to destroy an Indian reservation to make these batteries. But at the end of the day, so why? Why are they pushing for this? Why are they trying to basically bankrupt future generations with this thing, with this bill of theirs, their Green New Deal, Build Back Better bullshit? Why? Because they've invested in solar. They've invested in electrical vehicles. They've invested in the companies that make parts specific to that. One of their gripes right now against one of the centralists that's standing in the way of passing this Manchin is he collects money off of coal. So you want to bankrupt people. That's really what you want to do. You want to bankrupt the Republicans, so you get rid of coal and gas, and you replace it with what you've invested in, what your lobbyists have invested in. And another part of their thing, that they talk about is pre-K, free pre-K, universal pre-K, and free community college. Well, that's going to benefit teachers, but that's not going to benefit the average person. Right now, people with college degrees are working in jobs that didn't used to require college degrees. And why should it? You don't really need a college degree to be a secretary or a receptionist or a gas station attendant. Why aren't they focusing on trade schools? Things that would train people for the jobs of the future. Instead, you're just going to give people a free ride to get a 2-year BS, get their general ed basically out of the way, maybe pick up a bachelor's along the way in whatever they want, liberal arts, the history of spoons in Western Germany. I mean, it's just spending money without any regard to what the end result is going to get you. And they claim that it's going to cost nothing because they're just going to tax the shit out of the rich people. And I don't understand how they get so confused by... I'm just scrolling for something really quick here. Right here. This is what I was looking for. Psaki says it's unfair and absurd that companies would raise costs for consumers due to higher taxes. The left was all over Trump for his lies and exaggerations. And yet they accept this kind of stuff. Look, this is not a team sport, man. This is real life. This is shit that will affect your pocketbook. And that's what companies are going to do. Oh, evil corporations. Okay, really? So what? People aren't allowed to make money in this country? Who's allowed to make money in this country? College professors? Those wankers? Nah. The government. Oh, politicians should make all the money. Politicians and college professors. No. Grow up. Grow up. Capitalism is what brings us all of the good things. Yeah, it's got its bad side. But have you seen what it looks like in communist and dictatorships? Look at those messes, okay? You point out where that kind of shit has ever worked. It doesn't work. Oh, and yeah, you could talk about the socialist states in Europe. Oh, that's fine, well and good. With their homogenous populations and their very few people, and some of them, I mean, come on. Like Iceland's got less than 400,000 people living there. Wow, they can run a country. Oh, I'm sure it's quite easy when you don't have millions of 330 million people from all over the world with all different ideas of what's fair and what's not. Yeah, it's going to cost nothing. That's what they're claiming now, But trying to redefine that as costing nothing goes against principles that have been outlined that are right here. Right here. See? But it's, as Politico said so well, saying that this will cost nothing is exactly when Trump said that Mexico would pay for the wall. You don't want to believe it's a lie because you vote on that side. Okay. But that's what it is. It's a bald-faced lie. It's going to cost. It's going to cost. When you raise corporate taxes and individual taxes, people are going to charge more. I mean, let's think about that. I mean, somebody like Scarlett Johansson apparently got $20 million for Black Widow. Haven't seen it, don't care. You guys have fucking ruined Marvel Comics for me. But anyhow, she's going to give up, 60 to 70% of that money to the government? And what are they going to do? They're going to waste it. Because they have trillions and trillions of dollars, and they're like, nah, we need to spend more. But you're giving our money to other countries. You're giving our money to illegal aliens. You're giving our money to people who refuse to play along. You waste it. You give it to consultants. You fall in line with lobbyists, and you spend money on shit that is completely unnecessary. And now you just want more money. Now see, right here, the second line down there. If the $3.5 trillion reconciliation, what does that even mean? If that was entirely offset by spending cuts, then it would cost nothing. There you go, Biden. I'll whisper for you. If it was offset by spending cuts, then it would be free. But this is not free. Okay? This is going to affect every single person. And for what? For what? If your kids are grown and out of the house, what? Okay, your grandkids are going to get free community college? Your grandkids are going to be able to charge their electric vehicle in the middle of Oklahoma? Oh, wow, maybe. Maybe, but it's so heavy-handed. Because again, if we need charging stations in the middle of nowhere, let's put charging stations there. But let's find out that we actually need them. Let's find out that we're using the right technology. Let's find, oh God. As a Californian, I've seen them take abandoned hotels to renovate for the homeless. And I've heard that some of those single little unit rooms, basically just a hotel room, picture a hotel room, okay, just an average Motel 6, we'll leave the fucking light on for you, all right? Imagine if they told you that each room cost $900,000. So what that tells me is that some construction company who's somehow connected to some of these politicians is making a lot of cheese on top of the sandwich. Because it doesn't cost $900,000 to renovate a room for the homeless. What? Is he going to be all clad in gold? I mean, come on. Spend our money wisely, then ask for more. Imagine another, I give props to this guy. He's a moderate Democrat. He's looking more and more purplist, centralist here. But, he wants the reconciliation bill that chops off $2 trillion. And he believes that we shouldn't turn into an entitlement-based society. Just because you're fucking living here doesn't mean we got to give you everything. This is America. People earn their way to the top. They work their way to the top. These people all they want to do is buy votes. That's all this is. Look at this progressive caucus here. They're insisting on blocking an infrastructure bill to get their pork bill. Why? Because they're probably going to make some money off of it. So in other words, they don't want to fix roads, bridges, the internet, from whatever, actual infrastructure. Stuff that can actually cause people to lose their lives if it fails. Like we saw down in Florida with that condo building. Just collapsed. Do we want our buildings collapsing? No, but they don't give a shit unless they get their almost $4 trillion pork bill, of which I'm sure they're getting a huge cut. And I'm sure they're investing in the companies that are going to benefit from it. I mean, it's not, it doesn't take a genius. If these people are going to pump a bunch of money into solar energy, well, buy stock in companies that make solar panels. Duh. Sometimes, man, I got caught up in a song, man. God, it's brutal out here. And that's what it is. That's what it is. I mean, they're worried about all the wrong things. And now all of a sudden Pelosi wants to push ahead with the infrastructure because she realizes that a lot of moderate Democrats are getting turned off by this. I mean, even Whoopi Goldberg popped off and said that they're making the bed of their demise. Well, I don't have it in front of me, so the bed of their own demise. Think about that. Even Whoopi Goldberg is being forced to tell the truth. And I love Whoopi. I always have, but, politics, man, it's become an ugly thing lately because what it is one side is just asking for stuff that I can't subscribe to. Socialism, open borders, defunding the police. I can't live with that. Take away our guns, but keep your security guards. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. I've seen it for too long here with this fucking Governor Newsom. The only good thing he's done that I've seen so far is today he gave back Bruce's Beach. It was stolen a long time ago by eminent domain from a black family, and he's giving it back, and it's worth millions, like $75 million or some crazy number like that. That's the only good thing he's ever done, and that was a slam dunk. Duh. I mean, really, the city steals from a black family. Okay, let's right that wrong. Great. Cool. 100% on board with that. See, Manchin again here. At some point, all of us, regardless of party, must ask a simple question. How much is enough? Well, I would say, how much is too much? Too much help from the government has led to people not going back to work. It's a true statement. It's what we're seeing right now. But I guess I'm wrong. Because Biden says we can afford the $3.5 trillion bill because China just gave him this cool new Visa card with a low introductory rate. Yeah, that's satire. But it makes a point that this will come at a price of the next generation. They're going to have to deal with, a combined $5 trillion. I mean, when basically they're saying to fix our infrastructure, it's $1.5 trillion. So why don't you just round it up to $2 trillion and just fix the shit that's broken in this country and help out the fucking businesses that have been crushed by this pandemic. I'm seeing businesses with eviction notices on their door. I'm seeing all kinds of restaurants going out of business because a large portion of their income came from the surrounding office buildings, and they're not set up. I mean, Soup Plantation is gone. And I love Soup Plantation. Oh, all the great presidents have been tested by fire. Border crisis, the Afghanistan pull-up. Forget that. I mean, just a knucklehead, man. We're finding out that the military had a better plan and he rejected it because all he wanted was to get out so he could say, I ended the war, the longest war ever. By the end of his 4-year term, it's going to feel like we went through the longest war ever. The war against common sense. Jesus. This is an interesting one coming to us from Bronco. And it's talking about how Minnesota was tinkering, and I'm sure a lot of states were tinkering with the idea of not supporting child labor, child slavery, China, and just environmental debacles that come along with mining stuff like lithium and I believe nickel and cobalt. Those are the big cobalt, the big components of a battery. And as you see here, they're just like, yeah, nah, we're going to buy it all. You know, and it's on the back of child slave labor in the Congo. That's just the way it is. And you're supporting that. Like, I know we ain't got our shit together that well at home, but come on. Come on. And again, you're saying that you're for human rights, you're for the green technology, you're for all of this, but the two don't seem to coexist together. It just is the way it is. And so what are we going to do? We need to find another way now. Electric vehicles with their batteries are not the answer. They're not. And my guess is that a lot of Democrats have invested in it. I'm sure some Republicans have too. Lockdown deemed a success as everyone is now so obese they can't fit out their doors. But you know the sad side of it, the isolation, the depression. I mean, I couldn't even imagine what it would be like if you lived in an abusive relationship and you didn't even get this to go away, to go to work or to go to school, to get away from the hell from a few hours every day. And what did it save? Doesn't really look like it did much good. You can argue it could have been worse, but all I know is that the lockdowns didn't flatten the curve. We are on day 500 and something of 15 days to flatten the curve. We didn't flatten the curve. It just kept coming back and it kept coming back. And instead of facing it and moving on with life and accepting the outcome, you know, we acted like cowards. And the weakest people out there were cut off from the world. There's a 10-year backlog on cancer screenings because nobody has gone into the doctor because everybody was so deathly afraid. So now they're going to die of... There are women out there whose breast cancer could have been caught in time. But because of these lockdowns and because of the fear that was perpetuated by the media, they didn't. And that, again, is not common sense, man. You know, killing businesses and locking children in their houses and not providing schooling for them because the teachers' union is afraid. And they have all the power, so they get everything locked down. This is my favorite. You see over there, Free Brit. I love Brit. I love her as just a person. I'm not a huge fan of her music. I don't dislike it, but it's just not. It's not my jam at the time. Still really isn't. But I think she's beautiful, and her story touches me because I have some idea of mental health issues, more than just joking around. I mean, you know, I've had my struggles. Newly freed Britney Spears bewildered as she steps out into a post-apocalyptic wasteland of California. And that's what it looks like. You know, I'm out there every day. And I see what it's like. You know. And I see it moving throughout the country. And I'm starting to see similar reactions. Because everybody wants to be the cool kids like California. We're the cool parents. We let the kids do what they want. Why did all the kids die of a heroin overdose? Why did they die of an Oxycontin overdose? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe because the parents never fucking did anything. I'm a pretty laid-back parent myself. But I have my hard set rules. And most of it's lenient. But what I'm seeing right now is just a political party that is selling out to lobbyists and unions and special interests for their own gain. And they're lying about it. They're lying about what they're trying to achieve and how they'll pay for it. And once again, I just gotta say, if we don't pull together and demand a stop to all this bullshit, we are going to be in a world of hurt. Copious out. Bye, y'all.